Alright, Hinners, we are going to do some MXGP for our online play this week. And I'm going to start the lobby
Actually,
now.
what you mean is you're going to be playing MXGP, and I'm going to be trying to play MXGP.
Which one was it that you wanted to play? Oh, Best Stone.
Yeah, Best Stone. That's
and
a
then
sick track.
And then we should do something else after that. I put it on MX2, by the way.
Good. Maybe I can actually go fast.
I want to ride.
I'm sticking with the Red Bull KTM.
I want to ride my bicycle. I'll go with the Dixon Yamaha then.
Dixon Yamaha.
Dixon Yamaha.
Oh, I should have done the Monster Energy.
There's no qualifying either. I don't know if you care about that, but it means that we'll probably have terrible gate picks. Best Stone.
No big deal. Alright. AI Hurlings. AI Tixier.
I'm already starting to feel the drinks, Hinners. It's going to be a fun stream tonight.
Oh, dude, I am so excited to watch these streams back. Hey, maybe I even come join you for the 450, man.
Ooh, fancy.
Go-to track.
Is this just race? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. We got gates 1 and 2. Shitty gates my ass.
I didn't know where it would put us. You're number 4?
Numero quattro.
And they're off.
Gate didn't drop, but I went right through it.
Whoa, lag.
Oh, come on, you can stop. Oh, my bad, Kellen. Who needs a front wheel anyway?
Oh, what? How did I crash there? There was just a fucking dickload of KTMs at the front, too.
Yeah, it should go me, Hurlings, Tixier.
Well, there's also Jose Butron and Pascal Rauschnecker up here. Oh, where did I jump to? Where am I going? That is not the
KTM's ruled the MXGPs.
Yeah, they do. Well, now they're starting to rule the states, too.
Yeah, that is true. With Uscan and Dungey getting the championships in their respective classes.
Whoops. What the hell? Yeah, I'm just riding like poop. You're like, oh yeah, Kellen's just going to smash me. Neck minute. Kellen's in 7th.
Neck minute?
Neck minute. This track is hella fun in sim, though.
Yes.
I actually had a really good race here. This is probably one of the few races that I almost won, and Dennis was like leading late. Oh shit! And I pretty much caught him, but I couldn't pass him.
I was up there too. I think I was able to race the entire race. Like, remember how I could only do the first moto? Yeah. I think this was one of the rounds that I was actually able to do both motos in.
That was one of those rounds that Roy showed up and raced the 125 for us too.
Yep.
Oh jeez, just all over the track back here in 5th. Are you still leading?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Hurlings is about 5 seconds behind.
You're getting away from me up here. All right, so let's do some MXGP discussion.
Okay.
We're in between the Grand Prix of Europe and Grand Prix of Spain right now. Because last weekend was Europe, and there's no race this weekend, and then there's next weekend after that is Spain. And supposedly Villopoto is going to be back, but I kind of wanted to know your thoughts on how RV's done so far and the missing around and whatnot.
Well, you see, he spotted out.
I don't see, actually. Well, I did.
And he called it a rookie mistake. Words from RV to himself. But, I don't know. I think he's doing just about as good as I expected him to. Obviously, I'm a huge Villopoto fan. But I did not think that he was going to come into the MXGP and just mollywomp everybody like everybody thought he was going to.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been up there, but he's got one win, right?
Yeah, he won the Grand Prix of Thailand, but he only won the first moto.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, doing just about as good as I expected him to. I don't know. I think the MXGP guys are actually very underrated.
I agree.
Anybody who watches MXGP like religiously would know that all the guys are actually very, very quick.
That is the truth right there. I mean, you know me, I'm kind of the GP nut, but I agree. Like, I'm kind of surprised that Villapoto crashed at all, though. You know, like I could see him.
Yeah,
making
it was
rookie
kind of
mistakes, but
it was kind of a weird crash, though.
yeah.
I mean, I guess it was just too much power to the ground too soon, type of thing.
It was
he landed on his back tire and
yeah. It was kind of funny though. I mean, like it. I don't know. I've never seen someone, you know, in the middle of a straightaway loop out. Like we saw Davey loop out earlier this year on the backside of a wall, and that's just like the way that he put the power down. And I know that
that's kind of the same thing though. Like the back tire was on the ground and he just fucking gassed it. He was going for it.
Yeah, no, I got you. I get that. I'm just saying that like he wasn't necessarily right off the landing of a wall. Like he was on the ground gassing it for a while, and then it went up and over.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess like I don't know. It's almost like you can attribute it to slow reaction, maybe. Like he just didn't realize how quickly it was going over. Or
yeah, or maybe he didn't realize that he was that far back at the time or something. Because I mean, he was in a battle too.
Yeah, right.
So it's not like, you know, he just wanted to try to get the inside on. I think it was, who was it?
Desal. And that's another thing that I kind of heard too is some people were saying like, well, do you think that because of Desal being there, he heard him to the left and was like, oh, I got to get on it. So he floored it and wasn't really concerned with the bike looping out, and it just went up and over.
Yeah, I mean, we all know how competitive Villapoto is, so I'm sure he was just trying to get to that inside first.
Right.
So.
But no, it's a very interesting like situation now because I don't know if you know, but last weekend Antonio Cairoli crashed out of the first moto.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
And yeah, he actually broke a bone in his hand. And sorry, I'm kind of time-lapsing myself here. But broke a bone in his hand, still finished 7th in the second moto. But it's like a very strange situation that like the championship fight is really kind of just between Noggle and Desal now. I didn't pick one. Oh, it's random.
I didn't either. Randomly picking.
Let's see. What's it going to be?
What are we getting?
Low sail.
All right.
But it's just weird because, like, yeah, Noggle and Desal are good. I would have expected Desal to be right about where he is now, but with Cairoli leading and not Noggle, it's just like, I don't know. You go into the series predicting Cairoli versus Villapoto, and it turns out to be Noggle versus Desal after 5 rounds. It's very interesting.
Well, hey, they're the ones staying off the ground. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody was predicting a Cairoli-Villapoto shootout throughout the series.
I mean, I still think it's going to happen too, though. Like once they both get healthy and they're starting to click off wins, because I don't think Noggle and Desal are going to, you know, last this long. Statistically, they have not put together full seasons in a long while. So.
Well, it's a very long series, isn't it? Like
19 rounds, I think.
Okay, 19 rounds. Yeah. So and
maybe not. Maybe.
It's more than 19 weeks with like the breaks in between the rounds and whatnot.
Right.
So, I mean, I've already heard that Villapoto says he's not retiring. He's going to come back next year.
Yeah, I heard that too.
So I guess he just really wants to win the title. I'm not saying that he's already out of it, but I mean, if Noggle and Desal can stay healthy, I'm pretty sure that it's going to be those two throughout.
Yeah, and to your point about like maybe he just wants to win the world title, I originally thought when he said like, oh, it's a one and done thing, I was like, I mean, yeah, you're not having a good time riding your motorcycle here and all that, but I mean, come on, dude, you're Ryan Villapoto. You are ridiculously competitive. If you go there the first year and it doesn't go your way, you can't tell me you're going to like just retire, look back and say like, oh, no regrets. Like, no fucking way. You're going to You know what I mean? Like, I always just kind of
yeah,
assumed
it's just
that-
because he's so competitive.
Exactly. If he won it his first year, I could see him just saying like, "Yep, I did it. There I go." But
Yeah.
now that it's
Riding off into the sunset.
right, now
type
that it's
thing.
looking like kind of a challenge, I kind of expected at some point for him to say like, "Well, maybe I'm not completely done. Maybe I want to give this another shot." Now that he's got a
Yeah,
year
and-
under his belt, kind of thing.
If he does come back next year, like if he doesn't win it this year, I mean, he's gonna have a year under his belt. Like he's gonna know how everything works and whatnot. So, and he's gonna know some of the tracks, not all of them, but
Right.
I don't know how often they switch up the tracks.
No, I mean, they
around, but-
stay pretty consistent. There's a couple of new different tracks this year. I mean, obviously, like
Yeah.
Glen Helen's back on the schedule. That hasn't been around since 2011. But for the most
Well, he
part,
knows that track though.
Right, but I'm just saying that, like, in terms of a reference point, they don't switch tracks around too often. And when they do, they go back to tracks they've ridden in the past. So,
Okay.
but
This year's definitely a learning year for him.
indeed, I mean, I
I don't care how fast he is or whatever. Like this is a completely different like scene for him.
like I looked at it as, you know, it could have gone a couple ways to begin the season. Like I thought with the flyaway races, since there are 3, you know, tracks that aren't normal European tracks, like Qatar, every GP rider of course is now raced on, but Thailand and Argentina were brand new. I kind of looked at it as like I could see Villopoto coming out, you know, really hot and winning those just because like he's antsy and he wants to go, you know, fucking fly around the track. But then I also looked at it as like, well, you know, maybe he's getting his feet wet. Maybe he'll use those rounds as learning experience. But either way, I kind of always thought that once they got back to Europe, he would have a really tough time because all those guys have so much experience on that on those tracks. You know, it's like when DeSalle and Strybos came over here a couple of years ago. Like, sure, Muddy Creek was brand new back then, but still, like, the soil and the terrain, like, all the American riders knew what they were going up against. And they, you know, DeSalle looked pretty good, and he set second fastest qualifying that at Muddy Creek, but still, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like to the point with the European tracks, like I didn't expect Villopoto to like, I mean maybe snatch a few moto wins and maybe a couple overalls, but like overall, like I didn't expect him to have too much for like Cairoli, but maybe this year it's, I don't know.
Right, right. Yeah, no, I got you.
I mean with Cairoli being hurt and now, you know, Villopoto, I guess we're going to have to wait and see for a few weeks at least until they're both healthy, like you said.
Yeah, well, at least like you were talking about earlier, there's a lot of breaks in the series, you know, big gaps between
Yeah.
races. So getting hurt early, missing a round or two, not the end of the world. Like I did an article on Verb Moto the other day though about how, you know, missing races pretty much kind of means the end of your championship statistically. Like it's pretty hard to come back from 50 points, let alone the 75 that Villopoto missed out on by DNFing the second race at Trentino with that crash. But, you know, like it's not necessarily over by any stretch of imagination. Like as I said in my article as well, like last year Hurlings with 4 rounds to go breaks his femur, has 145 points in hand over Tixier, has to come back and try to beat Tixier in Mexico with a broken femur and still loses the world title. You know, like anything can happen.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, racing's racing, you know. Like you
Exactly.
said, anything can happen. So, like, look at a couple of years. I mean, I know this is like an MXGP thing, but like a couple of years ago when Kennard and Porcel were going at it at the last round for the 250 outdoor title, like, nobody thought Kennard was going to win that.
Exactly.
It was just like a freak thing that happened to Porcel.
Well, I say we do one more race because I got one more thing that I kind of want to talk about since it's relative to this week. So let's do
All
one
right.
more. What track do you want to do
Sounds
so we do
good
that
to
before we
me.
hit start?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Let's see.
Whatever track. Just not Ernay, because I don't like that track.
Don't like Ernay. We should do a hilly one like Majora or something.
Let's do Majora. That sounds good.
Oh man, I've got the beer belches. I'm telling you. I'm already getting that drunkenness. All right, Majora. Italia. All right, Hinders. So the final bit of our video today that I would like to talk about, because it's relative to today actually, is James Stewart not being, deemed eligible to ride outdoors this year, or at least not eligible to do anything until August 19th. Are you surprised that his final appeal failed, or are you just kind of like at this point?
I mean, I don't know, because yeah, it's kind of like a shitty situation for Stewart and whatnot, but like they like banned him way back in like December, wasn't it? Supercross at least.
Yeah, it was.
Or it might have been November, somewhere in
Yeah.
that time frame. So at that point, I was already over it. I was like, okay, well, whatever. Maybe he'll be able to come back for outdoors. But when I heard that his appeal was denied or whatever, it didn't really shock me at all. I don't know. It's just a really shitty situation for him. Because he wants to race. It's not like,
Right.
like
Well,
he wouldn't have appealed it if he didn't want to race.
yeah. And again, there's two sides of the story. The one thing that bothers me is that like it kind of seems that the general American public is just like, why is the FIM involved in this whole sanctioning of it, and WADA and USADA and all this crap? And it's like, well, I mean, the reference that I've always made is, yeah, Major League Soccer is its own division, but it's still a representative of FIFA. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's still under that entity, and that's the way it should be, because it's a world organization race. Like if you want the American racers to feel like they can be compared to a world spectrum, then you've got to have them be under this world outview. So I've never understood the, oh, fuck the FIM, let's just keep the AMA ruling that people keep bringing up, because it's like, well, then it makes it less official realistically.
It does. It really does. And that's actually a really good point that I didn't even think about. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like people are just kind of talking out of their asses, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
he broke the rules, whether he wants to admit it or not. Like, I don't know the exact situation. I kind of forgot about it, but, like, I mean, he tested positive no matter what.
Right.
Like,
Right, exactly. I mean, my thing with it is that at this point, I would have agreed with him being taken off suspension. Like, to begin with, I was fine with him just getting like 4 races in Supercross, but if they were gonna take him out for Supercross, then it's whatever, like, big deal. But
yeah.
at this point, it's like, well, does he really need to be suspended still? I mean, like, obviously he's got the new TUE or whatever to have the therapeutic use exemption thing, and all that's cleared off. So whatever the problem is, I don't know. But one thing that is for sure is that there's more to the story than I think people are saying. Like, obviously Stewart's had his own side of the story and come out and said it, but there's something that I think that the FIM and Stewie went through together that they're both like not saying or talking about, that has resulted in this being such a big deal.
Yeah, that's actually, I mean, I would believe that. Kind of keeping it, like, under the radar, like, they don't want to say what's really going on completely, but
Ooh, showing
like I said, I'm kind of just over the whole situation.
Right.
I'm not shocked by it. So,
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, like I said, just the one pet peeve I have about it is how quick everyone is to attack the FIM. It's like, well, next time tell James Stewart or the people that are around him to file a TUE before the fact, like, that's kind of unacceptable anyway, so. But either way, I guess it's going to be a bummer because he's not going to be outdoors. But I still think it's going to be a good outdoors campaign regardless, because now we got
100%.
we got
yes.
Porcel in the mix, and Roxon's going to be healthy with the #1 plate, and Dungey's coming off a Supercross title, and
Tomac's right up there as well.
yeah,
Like,
Trey might be back on the bike in time, so once he gets going. And Baggett too. Like I think Baggett's gonna
Yeah, Baggett's
slay.
gonna do good outdoors. I mean, he's always been an outdoors guy, and he had a great Supercross season. So, no, I'm excited for outdoors this year.
Yeah, it just everybody's all bummed because there's no Stewie. It's like, well, there's still a lot to watch, you know. Like it's like all those people. There's a lot of people at the beginning of the Supercross season that were like, oh, no Stewie, no RV. I'm done watching. It's like, oh, cool.
That actually made it one of the like closest title chases in recent history because I mean, the past 4 years, Villapoto basically ran away with it by the end of the thing.
Yeah, and I mean,
like, the beginning of the series was close with in 2013 with Millsaps and whatnot, but ultimately Villapoto just ran away with it the past 4 years.
Exactly.
So.
And until Roxon and Kennard got hurt, I mean, it was still relatively close. Yeah, Trey had dropped back a ways, but there was still kind of hope. Once Trey got hurt, it was like, well, back it in, boys. So,
yeah, pretty much.
But anyway, whatever. Just fans, whether or not they're fans of the sport or fans of riders, I guess it's good because there's more people watching the races.
Yep.
All right, well, I guess that'll do it for this episode of Online Place. So we had some fun, huh?
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun, actually. I didn't think I'd be beating you like this, but...
Hey, it was close at the end, though, huh? With 4/10 of a second.
Yeah, no, that last race was actually really good.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't even realize it because we were talking. But
All right, Jeremy, let's stop.